Taylor, misspelled Swift's, music is ass, which is Ironic, because hers is flat. White plays the obvious offensive move here, as they know Black is a Swiftie and nothing gets to them more than insulting their idol, making this a great move off the rip. Black hits back with her music slaps, TF you mean, making me shake my head in disagreement because personally, I don't like her music. I'd rather jam out to Everyday Bro, which is why it's an inaccuracy. White responds to this with it's basic as hell, choosing one of the best moves in this position, which is why it's a great move. Black is clearly falling for the Ragebait, and who knows how they'll respond to Taylor's music being labeled as basic. STFU bitch is Black's response, and this player got lured into the Ragebait easier than Pokemon get lured into areas by incense. Responding to Ragebait with a swear word is exactly what the opponent wants, which is why this is a mistake. White starts to push for checkmate and says, haha, classic Swiftie getting mad, and they're literally laughing in the face of the opponent, which is crazy and also an excellent move. On one hand, you have Black dropping the word bitch, and on the other hand, White is laughing. I'm not f***ing mad, I'm just confused because why the actual would you go out of your way to indult her? She don't know you. This puts Black in an even worse position than before because I didn't even think that was possible. Dropping two F-bombs in the same text and claiming not to be angry is about as dumb as rocks, so I gotta call this a serious blunder. White then speaks in my mind by saying, you sound mad to me, which is a brilliant move allowing a mate in one. Instead of allowing a checkmate though, Black replies, bye, period, and resigns like a coward. White opens with, get me a beer, immediately limiting Black's options with the fork. They either get the fuck up for the beer and waste time, or tell them no and get jumped, which makes this a good move. I'm busy is the short yet effective response from Black, and this is brave, much braver than me. To reject your dad as easily as that requires balls of titanium, so this has to be a great move. White responds with, hi busy, I'm thirsty, now get me a beer. White plays a brilliant move here by taking a smart dad joke mid-game. It shows that they mean business and will not take no for an answer. Absolute cinema. Black gets back with, I have a job, I can't just be leaving to do stuff that you can easily do yourself, which is a reasonable excuse, but White has already revealed that this is not a choice, making this a miss. White reveals the Ragebait by replying, you can lol, and Black is bound to be angry reading this. The LOL at the end is the icing on the cake for this excellent move. I'm getting annoyed, I'm turning off my phone. What a dreadful blunder from Black that puts them in a position worse than the reverse cowgirl. I didn't think you could clearly tell someone that their Ragebait is working more than Black did here, so they must be on their lower end of elo. Okay, thumbs up is White's closing move, and you just can't read a dad's text without the dreaded thumbs up emoji making an appearance. This checkmates Black. White starts with, sorry for missing my 2 war attacks. I was undergoing chemotherapy for my liver cancer. White plays a book move here by simply explaining why they let the clan down, and it's a reasonable excuse. Black decides that this goes against the rules of text chest though, and reports White to an admin who is a third party and kicks them out of the clan. Justice for Candy in the comments to pay your respects. Black then plays an actual move and says, next time focus on the more important battle, and I'm in complete agreement. Nothing should ever be prioritized over a clan war, and this is a trophy move asserting dominance over the rest of the clan. Would you replace me with another girl if I died? White opens with the insecure gambit that chop players use to try and feel better. Book move. Black hits back with, what? That's a miss. The position was very clear, so there's no reason to say what, and it just puts Black in a weaker position. White responds with, just answer it. Clearly annoyed that the insecure gambit was rejected and they need to change their game plan. White plays a forced move here because they need to ask again. Black hits back with, why are you asking me this, which is the obvious offensive move and is one of the best responses to the insecure gambit out there, making this the best move. It's a yes or no question. Answer is White's response, and this bitch is not giving up on their opening. You have to respect the determination, but at some point you've gotta up your game. Mistake. Black finally accepts the insecure gambit with, well, I guess, putting themselves in a much weaker position. They had control of the game, but have bought into the Ragebait trap, making this a blunder. White capitalizes and pins the queen with "you guess?" question mark. "So do you want me to die?" question mark, making a brilliant move. The game has been completely turned on Black's head and they can't defend their queen, so they reply with "no" due to a forced move. White says, "just say you don't love me." White takes the queen here and checks Black with an insane guilt trip, which is an excellent move. However, Black still has one last try to evade checkmate. Black hits back with, "why are you trying to start a fight?" And of course, bro failed like this miserable miss. This was clear and obvious rage bait from White, and now Black looks like a dumbass for falling for it. If you don't want to look like a dumbass, you should subscribe and join the Discord. "I want an office job." Oh, I'm so sorry for not censoring that. Anyway, that's the opening move from White, which is about as professional as rocking up an interview in a maid outfit. Mistake. Black hits back with, "no office jobs available right now, period. But you can text or call him, question mark." This is a book move in response to White, who replies with, "can I just have your position, question mark, and you work at blank." White plays an excellent move here because who wouldn't get pissed off at someone trying to steal their job? Top tier rage bait. Black responds with, no, laughing emoji, making me very proud because even I would have fallen for the rage bait, but not Black, so this is a great move. Question mark, question mark, question mark. "It was my position first," is White's response, which is complete and utter bullshit, but a great move because there's no shot Black isn't on the verge of resigning. Black then hits back with, "not doing this with you." This move puts Black back into the dominant position as they have all the power in whose job it actually is, making this an excellent move. This match's elo is bigger than my body count. It at least is 1. White tries one last time to make Black resign from anger by saying, question mark, "wow, blank, that's greedy." But Black prevails and leaves the message on red, resulting in their win by checkmate. White kicks things off with, "who's your GOAT?" following the opening principle of asking questions. Questions are the best way of starting a conversation and come out as a book move. "Me" is Black's response, and holy shit, they're big-headed, a blunder. White hits back with, "no, like be serious, mine's LeBron." This creates a weakness in their position because they were unable to identify the rage bait and are already angry, making it a miss. Black spots an opportunity and follows up with, "still me." And this could not be a more obvious attempt at annoying someone. They're against low elo idiot though, so of course they don't identify this. Best move. Just to answer my question, dumbass, it's not that hard. What a ray of sunshine this player is. See what I did there? For real though, this is a huge mistake which allows Black to win a fork. Black spots this and states that LeBron is shit, circling all the way back to White's second move, which is an amazing spot. Players like this do not deserve to be in lobbies with low elo players. This is an excellent move. "Are you still coming over tonight? Question mark. LMK, because if you are, I need to go in the store to get food for dinner," is White's reasonable book move of an opening. Black responds with, "what's a father? Tell me you're not funny without telling me you're not funny." I get this is an attempt at rage bait, but using the corny XXXTentacion meme is a corny in itself, which is why this is an inaccuracy. White replies with, question mark. "Stop, just tell me if you are or not. Answer my call, please." And I feel bad for this poor soul. It's still a blunder because they have given into this rage bait 2 moves deep, but it's so undeserved. Black's next move is "no didn't bloodin ROFL. Tell me you're 12 years old without telling me you're 12 years of f***ing age." In terms of rage bait though, this would be a great move, but based on the fact that it's as funny as David Attenborough, I'm overruling and calling it a miss. Okay, come on. Blank, yes or no? I need to know now, I'm about to get off break. White creates a sense of urgency here and beckons for Black to give them even a one-word answer. It's a good move in order to stop the rage bait, but unfortunately it fails because Black responds with "or did he blood?" And it's gotten to the point that the rage bait has reached me, which is rare. This is the most unemployed text chess player I have ever come across, and I would not be surprised if they had a severe gooning addiction. For the sake of rage bait, I have to call this a brilliant move though, because it even managed to slightly piss me off. Slightly. "Please stop, you're actually annoying me now," is White's mistake of a response, which clearly tells Black the bait is working. If they had my hopes up of getting an answer left, they were now gone for good, and the position is hard to recover. Black capitalizes with, "I'm gonna need to see a badge," and the only badge White has on them is the f***ing loser's badge because there's no way they can come back with even more rage bait played. Great move. White opens up with, don't like your boobs like personality, period. Like you. Inaccuracy. Anyone who has to state that they like personality more than definitely doesn't and is a D1 gooner. Black replies, hey, thanks for the message, exclamation point, smiley face. Like some sort of NPC trying to maintain a conversation. Mistake. White somehow conjures a response which is YW, period. And it looks like they did not appreciate the robotic message one bit and responded in a bland way, which is a good move. He might as well have been messaging character AI. Black uses the good old Control-C, Control-V check attack by saying, hey, thanks for the message, exclamation point, smiley face, which is a rare but effective way of putting the opponent in check and an excellent move in Ragebait matches. Go fucking fuck yourself, followed up by 16 probably exclamation points. Check me in the comments, is White's response, which is a bit excessive, don't you think? White played a blunder here because they're seeping with nothing other than rage. The only comparison I can make is that they probably look like anger from inside out right now. But that isn't even it. They also follow with the need to specify that Black should f themselves, so follow up with now and another, I don't know how many exclamation points this time. Holy shit, this dude needs to chillax. Another blunder. Hey, thanks for the message, exclamation point, smiley face. Hey, thanks for the message, exclamation point, smiley face. Black uses the Control-C, Control-V check attack again, except this time the attack is a bit more promising. Good move. White tries to play defensive with, again, and an amount of periods that I respectfully don't want to spend my time reading. This is a great move on the defense as it calms things down from the F-bombs and starts to show signs of not being mad. Desperately trying to restore the anger, Black responds, hey, thanks for the message, exclamation point, smiley face. But this is their first mistake of the game. Despite seeing that White isn't getting as angry anymore, they still played the same move and this would be their downfall. Wanna fuck? Question mark? Absolute cinema? A very deserving, brilliant move from White here turns the entire game on its head and causes Black to resign. What a roller coaster that was. And if you're enjoying the video, like and subscribe. White opens the game with, you're cute, which breaks the opening principle of correct grammar. This makes White look like an absolute dumbass who probably has a GPA of 0.3, which is why it is an inaccuracy. Black replies with, no, you're cute, which is another inaccuracy. Something about players mirroring opening moves pisses me off. Oh thanks, hiding monkey, and I can't think of a more corny emoji to use after receiving the compliment. White puts themselves in the weaker position here by closing the first conversation channel with thanks and allowing Black to start a new one. Mistake. Black doesn't take the opportunity to start a new one though and reveals a mega plot twist. I was correcting your grammar, stupid! Exclamation point. If White had 0.3 GPA at the start of the match, then they are in the negatives now because Black just made them look at least less intelligent. Truly a brilliant move. White kicks things off with, can you turn it down a bit please, which is a simple request and a book move. I literally just turned it on, exclamation point, is Black's irrational response because White said please, at least be polite Black, inaccuracy. White responds with, yeah, and it's extremely loud, and White plays a good move here because I can relate. Nothing pisses me off then when one of my 15 girlfriends puts the volume too high. Black replies, whatever, period, better now, exclamation point, and as many question marks as inches on my second head. Black plays a great move here because they spot the defense and turn their TV down as requested. However, it clearly wasn't to a reasonable extent because White hits back with, doesn't sound like you turned it down at all, starting a confrontation and playing their first mistake. There, period, happy I turned it off, period. Can't do a damn thing in my own house. Black is expressing their anger as passionately as Greta Thunberg does with climate change. A blunder is played here because they tell their opponent that the Ragebait is successful, which you never want to do. White responds with, did not ask you to turn it off, just down because it's late and I'm tired and don't feel good still. Well, 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 one of the most used moves in all of text chess, the guilt trip. Any decent player can spot this from a mile away and make this a blunder, but this time it's an excellent move. Because Black replies with, if it's not loud, it's not music, period. My generation, period. I'm sorry if you don't feel well, period. Falling for the guilt trip in a matter of seconds and allowing White to checkmate them in the next move. White starts off with the Goggins Gambit and says, rise, rise, rise. Where's your anger? Question mark. Where's your f***ing rage? Question mark. This is definitely the type of guy to eat steak, avocado, and eggs on a wooden board for his Instagram story. Inaccuracy. Black hits back with, "Dad, what the f are you talking about? And holy shit, this kid has balls, so I'll call it a great move." If I said the F word around my dad, I'd get jumped on sight, but luckily, their dad isn't as extreme and simply says rise again, which is confusing as f and causes Black to resign. White says, "Hey dad, don't be upset, but I crashed mom's car, period. I'm fine, but I'll need a ride home." What a dumbass. The last thing you do after crashing a goddamn car is message your dad, because those fellas do not take shit this lightly. Mistake. Black hits back with a bore, and holy shit, its head is exploding. Someone call the vets or some shit. Anyway, Black also follows up with, "Can't talk, fishing." This is an outrageous move, because in a situation where your child is literally stranded, how do you keep fishing innocently? His wife should look out, because maybe he's after another fish in the sea.